put a finger down if you'd never had sex before in your life with a man, and anytime you did do anything remotely close to sexual with a man, you would just go home and want to rip your skin off. And so you're like, oh my God, am I asexual? And then you do have this one sexual experience with this guy, and you're like, bingo, I'm a lesbian. So you live your life an entire year believing that you're a lesbian. And then your guy friend, who you hadn't spoken to in a really long time, who you actually really like, hits you up, and then you guys start hanging out every single day, talking every single day, doing everything for 3 weeks straight. And then you're at his house, and you just tell him, you just cut to it. You're like, dude, I didn't plan on liking you this much. And then he just starts making out with you, so you assume that he's in love with you too. And then 2 days later, you go back to his house, and he takes your virginity, and then you go home and you take down your lesbian flag and you make a TikTok about it, and it gets 1.8 million views, and you're like, and then 2 days later you go back and you have sex with him again, and then you ask him, like, so I'm your girlfriend, right? And he shuts you down, and he's like, no, I just got out of a relationship. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I am just really trying to focus on myself. So you know what it means when a man tells you that. So you go home and you panic, but you act like nothing's wrong, and you continue to talk to him for 2 weeks. But meanwhile, the whole time it's just brewing up inside of you, just like this heartbreak. And you're like, he just wanted me for sex. I have to leave. So finally, you snap, and you send him an entire book, telling him how you feel, and he invalidates you. And then you never speak to him again. And then he gets back with his ex. And then now you're bi.
Put a finger down if you've lived in an apartment building for 2 years, and the entire time the maintenance man has been overly friendly and a little bit creepy, borderline harassment, but not technically, so you can't really report it because he's just being nice, but you can feel that it's a bit creepier than it's supposed to be. You've gotten in the elevator with said maintenance man, and he has hit your floor without you telling him what floor you live on, but you're 100% sure that he doesn't know the exact unit. So instead of reporting him or doing all of that, you just simply ignore it, and anytime something happens in your apartment that needs a maintenance man, you figure it out yourself so that you don't have to call him, so that he doesn't know which unit you live in. But 2 weeks before you're about to move into your new apartment, the maintenance man sees you coming out of your door. So he sees the address, sees the unit number, and the next day you get a text message from an unknown number. So you use the Cash App trick to put the unknown number into Cash App and find out whose name is attached to it, and the name attached to it is the maintenance man. So now you don't leave your apartment before 6 p.m. because you don't want to run into him. And you're scared when you come home from work, because you come home from work at 2 a.m. to see if he's just sitting in your living room chilling, because maintenance men have master keys to everybody's apartment.
Yesterday, I almost fell victim to the bystander effect, but I didn't. So I'm going to share that story so that someone watching this internalizes it and hopefully helps out next time they see like a situation that doesn't seem right. I was driving home from the beach in North Carolina, and I was about 30 minutes into my drive, and so it's like kind of a rural area, and there was this exit ramp, and I saw this car pulled over on the side, like middle of the exit ramp, which I thought was weird, because usually if a car has a flat or something, it'll pull over like on the side or just like keep going off the exit ramp. It was a really bizarre placement. I was like, that didn't sit right to me. I thought out of the corner of my eye I saw someone in the front seat, and I was like, don't like that. So I called 911 and I said, hi, like saw this suspicious vehicle with someone inside. I don't know if they were passed out or something. Can you send someone to check it out? And they were like, yeah. They were like, you don't have to stay or anything, but it's up to you. And something like really doesn't sit right with me. I was like, I will not be able to sleep tonight if I don't go check it out, because I am not only nosy, I am a catastrophizer. So I was imagining someone like literally having a heart attack and me just like driving away. And you know what? Honestly, I wasn't that far off. So I walk up to the car and I see this old man like kind of leaning back on the seat, and I realize that he is alive and he is hyperventilating. And I look in the back seat and he has oxygen, like supplemental oxygen. So I'm like, crap, this is like not a good situation. 2 other men ended up seeing that I was pulled over, like trying to figure out what was going on. And so they came to help. The other guy called the police again because still no one was there after like 11 minutes. And they were like, please send an ambulance. So eventually this cop comes, and bless his heart, like I really just don't think he was trained properly. He literally still had braces, but he just like was not equipped to handle the situation. And I'm not saying like I'm equipped to handle the situation, but like there was a few basic things that this cop was doing that I was like, you're actually making the situation worse. For context, like I'm not a doctor, but I feel like he was having either a regular stroke or he had a heat stroke. His skin was super hot to the touch. He like was hyperventilating, couldn't talk. and I went through like his stuff to try to find like an ID, and I found out he was 87 years old. So me and these other guys were taking like water from our cars and pouring it on the man to try to cool him down because the AC in his car wasn't working. And this cop, again, bless his heart, just trying to help. But like, if you're ever in this situation, do not force anything, or any situation. If someone is not responsive and can't talk or can't hold themselves up, never force anything down their throat. Like, no. So I literally yelled at the cop. I was like, please do not do that. I would say in most situations you're doing more harm than good by like trying to provide medical attention if you aren't trained to do so. But the ambulance took 30 minutes to come and the cop was being useless. And so I'm going to talk about a few things that I did that I think were helpful. I looked through his stuff to try to find like more information about him and see if he had like a medical alert bracelet or whatever. Always check someone's phone, the glove compartment, and their wallets. Also, unless the car is literally on fire, do not remove them from the car. Wait for the EMTs. Number 3, if you know a doctor, FaceTime them.
Put a finger down if when you were 13 you met a boy on a social media website that you absolutely fell in love with because he was just fine as fuck. And you guys would talk like every single day, but it kind of really didn't matter because you all were 13 and you had no real reason or way to meet up. But a couple years later, when you guys were old enough to drive, you tried to meet up again. But by this time, he was living in a different state, so you guys couldn't drive across states. So then you decide to just let it go, and then you got into a relationship, and he got into a relationship, and he started having kids, and that was just the end of it. And then years and years later, after you're out of your relationship, he sends you a message out of the blue on a different social media website, and you get super excited because this is like a childhood crush and you hadn't heard from him in a while, and now you guys are finally grown and can meet up, and you guys are back in the same city. So you make plans to go meet up with him, and everything goes great. The chemistry is there. He's still fine as hell, and you guys had a really good time, and you guys got into a relationship. And then a month into the relationship, you tried to go to his house and surprise him, but really he surprised you because he was there naked with another girl who he clearly just had sex with, but he told you some stupid lie about how she didn't have a ride home the night before and it was too late to catch the bus, so she stayed there. Anyway, you didn't beat their ass, but you wish you would have. But then like a month after that, you guys are at the club celebrating a friend's birthday, and you end up getting into a physical fight in the middle of the street outside the club because he said you were looking like a hoe. Anyway, you forgive him for that too. And then like a month after that, you let him take your car to go and see his kids, but then his baby mama keys your car. He didn't pay for any of the damages. He also used to drive your car all around everywhere, got several tickets, and got into accidents and never paid for any of those damages. But it's okay. You forgave him because you're in love. And then like a month after that, you guys get into another huge fight and the police had to be called. And he was acting like he didn't do anything and telling everybody that you were crazy. And so it really didn't matter. You just became crazy after that anyway. So then you started threatening to kill yourself. And then you ended up in a psych hospital. And the whole time you were in the hospital, he didn't call or check on you not one time. Didn't come see you. Literally gave no fuck that you were there. But then you got out of the hospital and the first thing you do was go to his house. And then you have sex. And then you get pregnant. And you didn't tell him you were pregnant for like 2 weeks because you were scared. But you finally told him that you were pregnant. He begged you to get an abortion, but you didn't want to do that. And then a few weeks later, his baby mama messages you on Instagram and tells you that she's also pregnant by him. And you forgave him again. And then after that, you go through his phone a few weeks later and you see that another girl is also pregnant by him. And you decide to forgive him again, but he wanted you to get an abortion so bad and you said no. And so he just decided to pack up all of his things and get in the car and drive 3,000 miles away. And he's still there even to this day and has never came back.
So ladies, we know summer is coming. Feet are out. I saw this girl talk about this product and it works so good. I'm about to show y'all. Don't mind my feet, they're crusty, and I'm about to wax my legs, but you just spray it and like rub, and look at that. There's not much on my toe, but look. Just spray a tiny bit and you start rubbing and look. And no, it's not dirt because I was wearing socks. It works very, very well.